Because good, we can talk about IB3 too.
Yeah.
TL2, huh?
Oh, Monday night. Oh, yes, the first one.
I'd like to welcome you all to another edition of In the Bleachers. Again, this is our 10th season, and as we tape this, it's September 11th, and this week we're doing the Justin Slez Project. Basically, Justin is someone who went to Emerson and who has come up with some brand new thoughts on how cable TV programming should go and filming, and to my knowledge, this has never been done before, what we're about to do today. So hopefully it works. If it don't, please send your emails to Justin Slevin. Okay. Guys, we're off. My co-host, Bob the Coach Wallace, and Rich, ESPN New Hampshire, Flerra.
How's it going?
Very good, guys. All right, let's start off with talking about how our Pats did or didn't perform last week. Rich, we'll start off with you.
Well, everyone's quick to hammer Brady. I heard a lot of people saying that Brady didn't have a good game. Maybe he was a little off, but I mean, it's tough. He's out there with brand new targets and everything like that.
Can I say something? To me, it was a typical case of what his wife said. He can't throw it and catch it at the same time.
Exactly.
That's what I thought that whole game was about.
Zoing.
I mean, no offense, they were hitting. He was hitting their hands.
That was my exact explanation to them. Kimbrel Tompkins, he looked jitterish. He looked like he was a little nervous first game and stuff like that. He was running wrong patterns. He ran into a guy on 3rd and goal, which completely made Brady take the sack and stuff like that.
Well, if he doesn't
just for the record, guys, I'm sorry, but we're talking about the Buffalo game because probably as everyone watches this, we'll have just beaten the Jets, hopefully. But again, this is Wednesday. We don't know anything, knock on some wood. So we're going to talk about the Buffalo game.
Good, thanks, Coach. That is why you are you.
That's okay. I don't know if that is good or bad, but anyway.
I'm not
sorry, Rich.
No, it's fine. Hey, look, I mean, that's what I saw. I think, could he have been a little bit better? Maybe. But to me, it's going to take time to get everything acclimated. Ridley, that's got to be a problem of concern. I know that they're going to go with him moving forward. They have no choice because Vereen was playing with a broken wrist. He's now out a month. He's on the IR, designated to return at some point, though.
So week 11.
I saw 8 weeks.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right, yeah. Wow, that's a big hit.
But look, Ridley pretty much picked up right where he left off last season. That's not a good thing because everyone remembers his last play against Baltimore was getting his lights knocked out and fumbling the football, and that's when that game turned around. And then this year, not only that fumble, but he fumbled earlier in the game, which we recovered too. So that's a big, big problem that can be fixed, but it's definitely a cause of concern going forward because we need to rely on the run game pretty heavy.
Can you give me a little bit about how you felt the defense performed, Rich?
I thought the defense played very well. I mean, the offense, Ridley's fumbles, what led to the first touchdown. It was another turnover that led to another touchdown, a quick bang, bang. But other than that, I thought the defense played really well. Anytime you hold C.J. Spiller to, 43 yards or something like that, fantastic.
Yeah.
So
wasn't a big part of any of the game at all.
The secondary had a 1 or 2 communication issues. McCourty was a little late getting over on one of the touchdowns. But overall, I'd probably give the defense a B. Could have provided a little bit more pressure up front. I wanted to see Jones maybe have a little bit better of a game, but guys, not too bad.
And guys, just so you know, we're going to have a separate question about the punting. So don't hit that during this. That'll be our next question.
I was just about to get to it.
You were going to get to it.
Well, then you'll get a whole segment for it.
Appreciate it.
Coach?
Yeah, no, I obviously echo what Rich says, and hopefully, at this point, when everyone's watching this, we'll have seen Ridley and Tompkins both step up because right now they're going to need them against the Jets, and let's hope they did. And other than that, Tommy's going to find a way because, like my shirt says, he's Tom Brady.
Tom effing Brady.
Well, there you go. My mom gave me the shirt. It's all right.
TFB.
There you go.
WTF.
Okay, do you have anything else to add to that?
No, not really.
Okay.
Honest.
Let's talk a little bit about the special teams.
Well, how do you think the defense played?
Well, what I'm trying to do this week, guys, as part of the Slez Project, he wants me talking less. He has basically said I have 200 words maximum that I can use. So, guys, we're going to focus on you a little this week.
Well, brilliant. I like this kid more and more.
I like this project.
Okay, you're up. Now we're talking. Please don't tell me it's all over for the punting. Please, it was one bad week, but tell me what you think.
No, look, I mean, again, I think it was jitterish. I think he was a little nervous. First game, he replaced Sultan Mesko, who otherwise performed pretty well in his stint here with the Patriots. They cut him over, I think it was $900,000 to save a couple of pennies on that. I think that is really what I would like to get into, maybe not this show, the next show, is are the Patriots wasting Tom Brady's final years. I've been saying it on the radio. I catch a lot of grief from a lot of Patriot fans for saying it, but I firmly believe, in the free agency, they shop in the clearance aisle, the $5 DVD rack, instead of even like the middle tier guys. They're not even looking. I don't know if Adelius Thomas scared them from ever going after a big name free agent again, but completely rebuilding your offense on the fly with maybe arguably the greatest quarterback of all time.
Could we please escort Richard Flerra off the set?
He's getting tossed.
So, hey, look, that's how I believe. I firmly believe you need to allocate and use all of your resources perfectly possible and make sure you get the very most out of Tom Brady's final couple years. And I think they're kind of wasting Tom Brady's final. Not that I don't think we're going to have a good season. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, so you're just seeing the punting is just one more example of what you've witnessed the last few years.
That's just more frugalness on their part, saving $900,000 to go with a kid versus a known commodity, which wasn't bad the last 2 years.
Mesco was better than not bad.
Exactly.
He really was.
The closest thing to Ray Guy I've seen in a long time.
So for $900,000, I mean, for cutting this, that, not going after. Even like I said, I don't need the fancy, sexy free agents like the Mike Wallaces of the world. Even just a middle-level, mid-tier guy. We don't even go at. We've needed a safety for 3 years, and they go after clearance guys, Steve Gregory's of the world, Adrian Wilson. They try to squeeze the last out of the orange that they can because they don't want to invest, and it backfires. And are we going to look back on when all is said and done and say, man, those last couple of years of Brady's, if we just used a couple of more resources to put guys around him, we could have really done something. I hope we're not saying that.
Coach, next time you come here with him, the karma that he is emanating right now from our studios is not my proudest moment.
Well, what it is
with that being said, I think he's an intelligent guy, and that's why we have him here. You can only have two homers completely.
Right.
All right, Coach, talk to me.
Homers, okay. Obviously hard to argue with Rich's points, and I agree, Rich. And probably the biggest disappointment in the offseason was the Zoltan Mesco move. I mean, other than just cutting him loose and saving, what you said, $900,000, less than $1 million, versus having a money punter. And like I said, I haven't seen a punter with the caliber of this guy, or a punter caliber of this guy since Ray Guy.
That's heavy praise.
That's going back there, but. I mean, name a punter right now that does coffin corner kicks pretty regularly.
Well, San Fran's punter is the best punter. Andy Lee.
Lee has got distance, but he's more of a raw talent than I think the placement Mesco had. I mean, maybe that'll come, but
Mesco did. Mesco could put it in.
He could drop him, and that's field
and
position.
he's with Pittsburgh now, right?
Mm-hmm. I wouldn't doubt that he gets snapped right.
Yeah,
out.
he did
he's punting for Pittsburgh.
And a bargain price, $1 million punter right now is not unheard of.
But back to Tom Brady took a pay cut. And how do they repay him with the pay cut? They get rid of his favorite receiver, and they don't bring anybody on board.
We'll do a special for you on. I'm just saying, I don't want to spend the whole time about it.
How mad do you think he was sitting there after in that locker room saying, I took a pay cut for this?
Well, it was one game, and don't forget the year we got whooped by Buffalo. We end up winning the Super Bowl. So let's take it for what take it what it was.
The Laurie Malloy game.
I know. Never forget that. But then we beat them 31-0 on the last game of the year.
And won the Super Bowl.
And won the Super Bowl, more importantly.
Okay, guys, let's, again, we're going to talk separately about the Monday night game, but let's talk about some of our reflections about the week itself going on with other games that played this week.
We just mentioned Pittsburgh. I was shocked that they were annihilated. I mean, it was 18-2, but they were dominated on the front lines all game long, defensive line and offensive line. They lost Pouncey for the year. Pittsburgh looks like they might be in some trouble. They have no running game to speak of. They lost Mike Wallace, their top target from last year.
See the spread going into this week? It's one of the FAB FOURs. They're given 7.
Yeah,
or getting 7, I should say. That's incredible.
Cincinnati at home.
Against a divisional opponent.
There was a couple of. The San Francisco Green Bay was a fantastic game, right down on the wire. Clay Matthews. He's an idiot. I think he should have been more penalized than he was. He flying clothesline after he said Wednesday going into the game he was going to hit him, and then he hits him late with a flying clothesline.
Well, he went to school with Ryan Dempster, so they're kind of not too good. They basically say what we're gonna do. Yeah, he says he's gonna hit A-Rod, he hits A-Rod. He says they're gonna cause issues, they cause issues.
What? Dempster got suspended, Matthews didn't.
I don't know what to say there. Because of Justin Slez, I'm not allowed to say what I think.
Slez. There you go.
Slez.
Slez.
Justin Slez would let me talk.
Week 1 take back.
Excuse me. He said I can't talk. He didn't say you were taking over as host of the show.
So there goes the peace treaty we're going to have this season, huh, fellas? Okay.
Let's go. You're up.
Oh, me? Oh, all right. Well, I had the pleasure of being at the Arena Sports Pub this past Sunday.
Coach, I didn't even know you knew what the inside of a pub looked like.
So you have to break into that side of the world at some point, Dave. And past Sunday was my first. So I was able to take my daughter, my wife, my good friend Don Warner from Bella Dance joined us, and what a great place to watch a football game. My God, it was great. And I guess the one takeaway I had was how interesting was it? At one point, very early, probably about 10 past 1, maybe quarter past 1 on opening Sunday, you have 3 games that are 2-0.
Yeah,
was
that something?
Ever happened
Tons of
before?
safeties.
Wild. I mean, at one point, Jacksonville was leading 2-0. Then I think they stopped scoring
Yeah,
points.
and there was
after
even
that,
one in
right?
the Monday night game, a safety.
Yeah.
Another
More
safety was
safeties.
there.
Than
So I thought that was really compelling. And a couple of guys with square pools were a little bit upset about the twos coming everywhere. But it's fun being out in the public when you're watching a game. It's fun being home in the old game room.
Well,
man
the
cave
problem
too,
too, Coach, a guy like you now that's been doing this 10 years, I imagine you had to sign a few autographs.
Surprisingly not. But my wife and daughter, so everyone seemed to know them. So I took the back seat where I belong, and
All right.
it was great time had by all.
Well, guys, I want to talk about the Monday night game because I'm going to tell you, I was like a kid in a candy store. I turned that on, and for once, I got what I was hoping to see. And it was from the get-go. It was action, action, action. I don't know what else to say. Chip Kelly's he's gonna sink or swim based on what brought him where he is. That's the bottom line. You know, he is going in there. Vic looked fantastic. He looked like he was in a time machine. Again, talk to me 6 weeks afterwards, and let me know how it works for you after 6 weeks of running some of those plays. But they looked really good. RG3, of course, looked like terrible at the beginning, but then he came back. I mean, he's the real deal.
A quarterback that didn't have a preseason?
Exactly. I mean, that's all that was. That's all that was. It was a great game, and I'm going to tell you, Philadelphia, they're going to compete.
They were predicted to go in the bottom of the East in a lot of picks I saw, and I would wonder if how many of those would rethink that after watching just one game with these guys. He didn't show nothing in the preseason. That was unrolled for the first time to the public on week 1.
Yeah.
No giveaways in the preseason. That was an amazing scheme.
Yeah, it looked great. Manchester's own Chip Kelly. You got to like that. Quietly, secretly, you can root for the Eagles, having a New Hampshire coach at the helm and stuff like that.
I don't even think we could do it quietly, as long as we're not in the
We're
other
not playing.
division. As long
Same
as
in
they
the
ain't
Super
playing
Bowl.
us. I mean, it
Yeah,
was
you can
great.
root for-
He's one of
it's
our
great to
boys.
watch. Exactly.
Yeah,
Great
makes
to
the game
watch.
fun.
I know everyone up there at Manchester Central must be pretty proud watching them, and everyone at UNH being a former coach over there. But look, I mean, the offense was what we thought it was going to be. It was going to be fast, high octane, high tempo, exactly what he ran at Oregon, and he's got the personnel to do it. Deshaun Jackson and LaShawn McCoy looked like they were 2 steps faster than everybody on the field. And then Vic, the only pause of concern would be durability. How many, like you said, talk to me in 6 weeks, can he keep up with his work running the football?
Yeah.
He came up gimp at the end of the game. I don't know if it was a groin issue or something. But Nick Voles, their backup, definitely can't run that offense, I don't think. So that would be my only pause for concern is how long can Vic stay upright in that offense, taking some shots,
it's almost catered to
stuff
him.
like that. But, I mean, other than that, I'm a big fan.
Oh,
I'll watch it
I
every
was
week.
very impressed. I'm going to tell you, it could be, so you could have 4 real contenders in the NFC East. I mean, usually there's 2 or 3, and then there's usually one that's, the sandbagger back there.
Right.
This year, all 4
They're
of
all
them.
battles, yeah.
Yeah, they could have, the first place team there could be 8 and 8. I mean, they could beat the heck out of each
we've
other.
seen
They should go
before,
2-0.
yeah.
They play San Diego at home this week. They should win that. And then they got Andy Reid coming back to town next week.
Right.
Oh,
So
that'll be a good game.
another team that surprised everyone in week 1.
Okay. Guys, we're going to spend a couple of minutes talking about a game that's already going to be over by the time our loyal fan base watches, but I think we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about Patriots-Jets. So, Rich, tell me what you think.
Well, I mean, if we're giving predictions and whatnot,
Why not? We're either going to be heroes or bums.
I'm going to
when people
predict
watch
that the
it.
Patriots do win. I think Stephen Ridley gets back on track. I think he's eager to atone for his mistakes. I mean, he has to. Unless they run Blount pretty heavy, which I think they will run blown as well. But I think Ridley has a good game, over 100 yards, 2 touchdowns. I think the Patriots win this one probably 23-16. I think it'll be a little closer than people think. The spread's at like 12-13. I think that's a little too high. I don't know what Sudfeld's going to happen here. I mean, he wasn't even in the game. I know they said he came up hurt. He can only go up from there.
Yep.
So I guess that's a start. I think, like I said, I think the defense played pretty well. Geno Smith is a rookie. They benefited from a bonehead play last week from the Buccaneers linebacker pushing him out of bounds to get the field goal position. I don't think anyone on the Patriots makes that mistake. Therefore, I don't think they can be the beneficiary of any boneheadedness, so to speak. So I think the Patriots do win, and Belichick improves his record to 13-6 all-time against rookie quarterbacks.
Yeah, he's on rookie. I agree. I'm big. I don't know if I'd give them 16, though. I think the D is what's going to be what people come away with after watching this game. Hopefully, of course, it's all going to be history by the time people see this, but yeah, my crystal ball tells me a lot of points for us and very little points for them. So I'm thinking 30s in the 30s for us, and I doubt they break double digits. I really think.
Will there be a butt fumble?
There might be a butt fumble, but there will certainly be a safety because it just seems to be the trend these days. Everyone has a safety. So Geno Smith gives up a safety to start the game, and then we just roll. That's my prediction.
Think my hope is that the Patriots are better than they looked, and we know the Jets are the Jets.
But they get great coaching.
The Jets do have great coaching. With that being said, I'm a little scared.
Sure.
I am. I'm
Trap
out.
game.
They almost beat us last year.
Classic.
They did.
Game.
I mean, in fact,
Absolutely.
I remember being at the stadium and people walking out.
Overtime.
Right,
Yeah. I mean, I don't actually watch the games. I just drive people, but I'm
the
still
radio.
out in the parking lot.
Radio.
Yeah, it took
You're experiencing
overtime.
the game
I still hear the yells. But anyways, they almost took it. The Jets are tough. I mean, what I mean by tough, they're like the Dolphins. I don't care who's better, who's not.
You're gonna show up and give you
It ain't over till it's over.
Absolutely.
And this is
game.
and Ryan's as much as Ryan's a nutcase, he really knows he doesn't have Super Bowl chances this year. And so the Patriots game is his Super Bowl every year.
Sure.
They give him his bragging rights. So with that being said,
I
think we're going to win, but I don't think there's any way that we're going to take the spread. I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah, pretty figure. What is it? It's at 12
or
and a half now.
13.
Probably 13, 14 when it goes off.
It's a divisional game, much like all the points we made last week, not to take the Patriots at the big spread in Buffalo, road game, this and that. I mean, much the same here this week.
Okay, now I'm gonna throw an audible because it's what I do.
It should be fun.
Hot route.
No, what I want to do is I want to during this period take a minute or two to talk about fantasy football with Rich and yourself, and then after that we're going to bring it home with the FAB FOUR.
All right.
Okay, Rich, you're up, my friend.
Well, as far as some of the quarterbacks you might want to play this week, think about sitting Andrew Luck. I know he's probably on some people's benches. He'd be a fantastic play. He's at home versus Miami. He's either some people's second quarterback or in a deeper league, he might be the starter. But definitely play Andrew Luck at home versus Miami.
Or these op or flex positions that, like I know my draft has now 2 positions that you can jack a quarterback into, other than the starting quarterback.
Yeah, so. Just talking standard league, quarterback 2, running back 2, wideouts, flex, no quarterback in the flex.
No quarterback in the flex. Okay.
I also want to touch base seriously. I'm going to be doing a thing with the patch on the weekly blog where I'm actually going to write a little besides putting our link in.
Oh, cool.
And one of the things I'm going to be putting in is Rich's plays for fantasy and also what we think on the FAB FOUR. So we'll be accountable to the world this year.
And you can go to PatsFanInsider.com.
We'll
catch all those fantasy insights as well.
Absolutely.
But Darren McFadden got a touchdown last week with Oakland. Definitely wouldn't hesitate to put him in your lineup this week at home versus Jacksonville. I would definitely play him. And some waiver wire pickups. Pick up Terrell Pryor. You can stash him on your bench. Quarterback for Oakland. Led the NFL in rushing after all the Sunday games. Anytime you get a quarterback that can run, always a plus. And if you didn't watch Thursday night, Julius Thomas, the tight end for Denver, you might want to think about trying to pick him up if he's still available. He was probably the hot waiver wire pickup of the week. Definitely snatch him up. And just a name to watch. I wouldn't expect anything right now, but Brandon Jacobs was signed by the Giants. David Wilson, their starter, had fumbling problems.
Again.
So just watch the situation. If you have room on your bench, you might want to stash him, but just beware of the situation.
And he was signed by the Giants.
He was signed by the Giants. He'll be a goal line guy. Wilson's not a big guy. So, I mean, at
Points.
worst, he might get some goal line carries. But just watch the situation, see
Okay,
how it
good.
develops.
Those are 3 great picks right there.
All right. Coach, you dabble in the fantasy world. You got anything to add?
Yeah, just whatever he says, do that, and it'll come out real good. 'Cause,
Okay.
he's my sole source for inside information for the Pats fan insider.
Okay, guys, as people asked last year, they said we didn't spend enough time on FAB FOUR, and when we signed Justin as a free agent, again, there were a lot of cable people wanted him to produce. He one of the things he said is, we are gonna do FAB FOUR, and we're gonna do it 6 minutes, and that's it. And with that
Down
being
from
said,
16 last week. So here we go.
okay.
All right, so guys, last week, just real quick, opening week, it was a Mets week. We started out 50-50, so to speak. So all of us are 2-2 when it's all said and done. Rich, you and I had Green Bay. Dave pulled the San Francisco pick, which was a good pick. Green Bay, Rich, you and Dave had Dallas picking up, giving 3. I had the Giants, lost on that. And we all had the Pats losing by the spread. I'll win in the game, but I'll take the win and gladly take a loss in a FAB FOUR if that's what I need to do. So anyway, that leads us to this week's FAB FOUR. Dave, why don't we start out with you? We're gonna we talked a little bit about Kansas City being fairly resurgent under Andy Reid. I think it makes a pretty interesting game coming up. Dallas, again, looking pretty good under Romo and company, heading out to KC. So
Dallas at
KC's
KC.
home opener. Dallas is actually getting 2.5 points at KC. What do you like there, brother?
Oh, I'd take Dallas straight up.
Well, you're staying with him. I mean, that's
No, I have more faith in Andy. I mean, I have less faith in Andy Reid than you do. So it's 2.5 points
That's a lot. 2.5.
as we sit here today.
Yep.
Okay, so Dallas is -2.5.
Just win.
I'm taking Kansas City. I think that Romo's a little beat up. He got the bruised ribs on Sunday night. Des Bryant is hurting. He got a mild foot sprain. And I picked Kansas City at the beginning of the year as one of my wild card teams. I'm a believer in this team. I was last year, even though it was derailed. They had 6 Pro Bowlers on their defense. Their defense didn't give up any points. Their offense gave up a safety. That's the only thing Jacksonville
Right, now
got.
their offense is swung around on the big
Alex
pickup
Smith
of Alex
is an
Smith.
efficient-
So now, where do you think he's, what are his biggest weapons right now, Rich?
Well, Dwayne Bowe's pretty solid. He utilized the rookie Junior Hemingway, Donnie Avery on the other side.
Yeah,
of
Hemingway
course.
was I saw him in the box score. I had no idea where he
Of
came.
course,
So that's
Jamal
their first
Charles
pick.
is Jamal Charles, one of the most electrifying running backs in the game. Andy Reid knows how to use his running backs,
Yeah.
a la Brian Westbrook. Charles can do a lot of what he did in Philadelphia. I think Kansas City is going to fly under the radar for a while at home.
And they're the favorite in this.
No,
Yeah.
Dallas is
KC
favorite.
is
Oh,
favorite.
KC is favorite?
KC is
Oh.
favorite, yeah.
Well, either way, I think KC
It's
wins
under a
this
field
game.
goal, so,
Yeah.
it's win the game. But
I'm going to go KC.
yeah, I think I am too after listening to Rich, because they are a team to kind of watch the first couple of weeks in Dallas until they put a couple
they
together.
from
I'm
the big-
still not. I'm not buying it.
The
You know
front
what
to
I'm saying?
back,
I'm
they're
not
as
buying
good
it.
as any defense. The front, Tambia Ali, one of the better defensive ends. In the middle, Derek Johnson, one of the better middle linebackers. And Eric Berry is one of the better safeties. So from front to back, Brandon Flowers and Sean Smith, 2 pretty good corners.
Man, I wish the kid would know something about the game.
He's very
here.
intelligent. Very intelligent.
Game 2, Washington. We're just talking about
Yeah.
RG3, which, again, if Shanahan had played him in the preseason, may have had those jitters out. It may have put together a better game against the Giants. But I'm just saying, RG3 is banged up. He's going to Green Bay, who's definitely got a bee in their bonnet, and for their home opener. Green Bay is given 7.5. So Washington gets a little bit better than a touchdown coming to Green Bay. Rich, when we start with you.
This is a tough one. As you said, Green Bay definitely has a bee in the bonnet. They're going to be mad, angry, and going to get after it. That said, 7.5, I mean, I think
That's a lot of
RG3 can score. Even if they're down late, he can scrap together a few touchdowns late. It is a lot. I'm going to go with Washington just because the spread's a little too high, but I wouldn't be surprised. That's a tough one. I wouldn't be surprised if GB just waxed them.
Yeah.
But I don't know, 7.5 is just a little too much for
Yeah,
me.
because they might be waxing him, and then Clay Matthews might take a late penalty and
Might pull
RG3 out of bounds or something.
A Hulk Hogan flying
Would
elbow
be just
from the
enough to
top.
put him for that, late time cover. So, I don't know, Dave, that is a good one. So, what do you think, buddy?
Well, the 7.5 is tough. I mean,
know
that
what?
half a point to me is what makes it a thinker. With that being said, I think Green Bay is going to take them.
Okay. And I'm going to go with Green Bay myself. Just that home field environment there, and I don't think RG3's really should even be on the field just yet. I think they should have.
I agree with
They're not
that.
playing him in the preseason. You just give them a couple of games.
If this was week 5, I'd have a different take on this game.
So this will either be validated or invalidated based upon the result of this
I
game.
love that word. It's one of my top 5
Invalidated.
words.
It's a Slez Project word.
Yeah.
So the third game is San Francisco at Seattle. What a grudge match this is. Seattle, the home favorite, given 2.5 here.
Yeah, this is a fantastic game. I'm going to go Seattle. I think it's going to be a toss-up, but I think they just don't lose up there.
Yeah.
The 12th man thing is for real.
Great matchup. Injuries, Rich? Do we have anything to worry about
Cliff
on both
Averill
sides?
might be back.
He's
a pass rusher for Seattle.
Yeah.
He could return. That would be huge for them.
Oh, wow. I didn't think he was coming back till week 4.
That's
so
what
that's
they
ahead
thought.
of schedule,
So
huh?
he has potential to return. That would be huge for them. But either way, I like Seattle.
Okay. David?
Seattle's giving 2.5 at home.
Yeah.
I just can. 2.5 isn't enough for me to pick against San Francisco.
Okay. Yeah, I
I
tend to
mean,
agree with you.
meaning San Francisco is getting 2.5.
Correct.
And they're playing. So them being Seattle being home isn't enough. I'm definitely picking San Francisco on that one.
Okay, Dave, I'll go with you on that one. I think they win by field goal, which would cover, and which brings us to the last game of the Fab Four, Pittsburgh at
Cincinnati.
I just forgot to write Cincinnati. Oh, I'll tell you. Anyway,
Good old
divisional
Marvelous
matchup, and again, I think the fact that it's a 7.5 point spread, that since he's given Pittsburgh, tells you that Pittsburgh got off to a pretty flat start with a lot of injuries in that first game. Clearly, this would have been a 2.5 point game either way had they not had the injuries. We'd say Mike Wallace, if you just ripping him off a minute ago.
Well, Wallace left in free agency to Miami. Marquise Pouncey.
Pounce.
That's a huge blow to them. He was gone. Foote, one of the linebackers, he's gone. They lost Harrison to Cincinnati in free agency.
So who's Ben throwing to these
I'm going to go
days?
Cincinnati. I think Cincinnati is very upset that they lost to Chicago, a game that they should have won. And I think, again, you mentioned the bee in the bonnet for Green Bay. I think the Bengals have the same.
Yeah, and Dalton, not a bad quarterback. I mean,
solid.
Another guy I get in my fantasy somehow. So I'll play him to the advantage. So me and Rich are going with Cincy here, given the points, Dave. What do you like?
Pittsburgh.
Just because it's the other side of what we picked, or
No,
is there
not
reasoning to it? Or?
Yeah, the reasoning is very
Okay.
simple. I don't care how bad they were last week. I have a problem giving over 7 points
7 points
to a Ben Roethlisberger team. I don't care. He's too tough. Anything can happen, and
The Big Ben factor.
yeah, and it's just too many points. That half a point is tough.
Believe me, I lost a couple games this weekend by half a point.
Hey, well, we would like your emails to dmccray7@aol.com, and I'd like to know what you thought of the Justin Project. My feeling is that my many fans will be very upset that there was less of me than normal. But we'll see what happens. See you next week. Go Pats.
Merrimack rocks.
Merrimack rocks.